everyone. It is, I don't know, it's about 6 p.m. and I was going to actually film this either Monday or Tuesday whilst I was driving somewhere. I was going to try and mount my phone and have it kind of facing kind of at me, but not at me, but also so you couldn't see where I was driving to. Not because the general people that watch my videos care about where I'm going, but some do, and I'm not safe because of them. So I was just going to try and set it up, but then I forgot. Well, I had a couple of opportunities Monday to do it, and I forgot, and then I thought, well, I'll do it Tuesday. Where did I go Tuesday? I don't know where I went. And then when I didn't get it done, I thought I'll do it Wednesday, but then I totally forgot. And then I was just sat here being stressed out, and I was like, oh, I've got to do a video. Am I going to still do it? I don't know. And then I was just upstairs and I was like, do you know what? I'll do it, but I don't want to talk forever. I originally thought about doing this Sunday, and that's why I was gonna, when I was driving where I was driving Monday, I was gonna try and set it up so the camera was pointing at something. Now, if it weren't for certain people, I'd be able to have the camera pointing at the road because it wouldn't matter where I was going, because most people that follow me don't live round here. But there's people that would love to hurt me and know where I'm going, etc. now, unfortunately. But that's what my life's become. So I couldn't have it facing that way, so I thought I'll have it facing into my car, as long as it doesn't show windows, or if it shows windows it doesn't show where I'm going, if that makes sense. So I haven't managed to do it until now. So when I thought about filming it, I was gonna like, do you know when you're in the mood to chat and you're like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this, this and this? I'm not in the biggest chatty mood, and I can't remember everything that I thought I would talk about. So this, I don't think this is going to be like a regular thing, but can I put you down? Because that's easier for me. I hope you can hear me, like you're a little bit further away. But yeah, if I get one up, I get one up. If I don't get one up for a month, I don't get one up. It's not really important because obviously I post in various other places. So I can't remember. Oh, last Thursday I actually filmed it Thursday morning, and it took forever to upload, and my phone was like dying, so I couldn't upload it straight away because my battery was like down to 5% or something. And yeah, I didn't upload it straight away, but it went up in the morning, I believe. I mean, I can't remember. Feels like longer than a week. So at weekend it was Father's Day. Do you have a dad? Well, everyone has a dad, but some people don't have them in their lives, whether they've died or they don't know who their dad is, or they don't have anything to do with them, or other reasons. Obviously, I do have my dad in my life, and I think I talked about what I got him, but one of the things that I said I was going to get him, I actually thought I'd ordered, and I actually thought I had. I don't know how I thought I had it, but I think it was because I filmed it in the morning. I thought I had it, but I didn't end up getting it, and it was the wallet. But I wish I'd got it now, because he forgot his wallet. What day did he forget his wallet? Was it actually Thursday? There was one day he forgot his wallet. Friday, I think it was. And he was like, can you drop my wallet off for me? So I got it where he said he left it, and I dropped it off because I was going there anyway. And I was like, I should have definitely got him one, because the wallet that he's using, I don't know if he bought it or someone bought it for him. Or it's a bit, I don't know. It's a long story about my dad and the things he's been influenced into doing. But yeah, I didn't get it in, but I got him everything else that I said, and more actually. Did I tell you I got? Oh yeah, I got him that new Stella Unfiltered and I got him a couple of other beers, this massive bar of dairy milk, which I think, was it Monday or Tuesday? He had a little bit Sunday, and then Monday or Tuesday, he literally just sat there and ate the rest of this giant bar of chocolate whilst he was waiting for his food to cook in the oven. I mean, if I eat chocolate, it makes me feel full, so I don't know how he managed to eat a full meal after eating all that chocolate. So on Father's Day, he was here, and I took him out. Now, obviously, because of how I'm being made to feel and stuff, I won't say right now where it was. But I was in two minds about what to do on Father's Day. I originally planned on taking him for a meal to this place. There's this place that I'd wanted to go to for a super long time, and I ended up taking him on his birthday. And I really enjoyed it. It was really, really nice food, really great atmosphere, and I was like, I'm definitely going to go again. So when it was Father's Day coming up, I was like, I'm going to take him there for Father's Day. And then I think it was like a few days before that week leading into Father's Day, I was like, if we go for a meal, like, it's a maximum of maybe 2 hours, because obviously it'd be in the afternoon. It's not like we're going out in the evening where it would be long, because you might have drinks. I mean, I wouldn't, but... And I was like, then that's it, isn't it? So then I thought, should I get him to go out in the morning with me, obviously, like, not just send him out, just like get out the house, like go out for a few hours. I didn't mean it like that, but I meant like maybe go out, me and him and the dog, and go for a walk somewhere, and then go for the meal. And then I thought, what if I combine it and go to somewhere that we've been a few times this year, well, in the last couple of months, and combine it with food and other stuff. So that's what I decided to do, and I knew that he probably wouldn't get up early because he'd been out the afternoon before. I can't remember what time he came in on Saturday, but not, he was with his old school friend, not as in old school like they went to school, but like a friend that he's used to spend a lot of time with and doesn't as much now because of a new friend. But he went to see, oh, and he also bumped into an older school friend, not as in old school where they went to school, but you know, someone that he's known for about 25 years, because I kept saying to him for months now, why don't you ring such and such up, you've not seen him for ages. Oh, things are different now, like, the thing with my dad is, like, if he doesn't speak to someone for a while or spend time with them for like a year or two, whatever, he always thinks that they won't want to see him or spend time with him because he's neglected them. And I'm like, of course they will. And then he just gets it in his head that they wouldn't really want to like spend time with him, so he doesn't do it. And I was like, you need to see him because he's like a really good friend of yours. You used to be with him all the time. And then when he was out with his other friend, Big D, if you know, you know, I call his friend Big D. And there used to be Little D, but Little D died. Anyway, so he was with Big D, and Big D's friend, who I shall name Brian, he's not called Brian. And then his other friend, who I said, like, I keep saying to him, you need to contact him. I've been saying it for ages and ages and ages. He did see him last year because their mutual friend died. And I was like, why don't you go out for a drink with him? Because his friend, let's call him Jim. I'm not going to remember all these fake names, am I? Jim is a bit of a kind of a loner, like spends time, like he likes his own company, but like he really spends time with people that he knows, which is a shame, but some people are like that. But anyway, what did I call it? Jim came in the pub that my dad was in with Big D and Big D's friend Brian. I don't know how I'm remembering these names. Anyway, Big D's is, well, it's not his real name, but it alludes to his real name, I guess. Well, he's not big, but Little D was smaller than Big D, so that's how he ended up with being Big D. But he's got a lot of nicknames. So yeah, he saw him, and then he was speaking to him and asking him when it's his next birthday, because my dad reckoned that he was already this age. It's a big age, like, do you know, like every 10 years you have a big birthday, and it turns out it's his big birthday next month. And I said to my dad, like, you should go ask him if he wants to go for a meal or something. He's like, oh, I was thinking of asking if he wanted to go for a drink, because you shouldn't celebrate a big birthday by yourself unless you really don't want to have that big birthday. You're going to say you're 21 forever. Anyway, so we didn't come home super late, but I knew he wouldn't get up early. So I didn't plan on us going out in the morning. Even though it would have been nice to get out about 11ish, but I think he got up like 10:30, 20 to 11. So we went out, I don't know what time it was, and we went to where we went, and he was a right grumpy bugger some of the time. I don't know if it's an old man thing or whatever, but he's quite grumpy. But sometimes he's not grumpy, but yeah. And we had a walk round with the dog. And the dog always has to find water, whether it's a puddle or a stream or a river, or she's not been in the sea yet. She's been to the beach, but she hasn't been in the sea. But yeah, so she was like trying to pull us in water that we couldn't get to. So I was like, let's walk to such and such a place. She can go in there. And honest to God, I've never known a dog love water as much as her. And then I took him so he could have a few drinks. And there was this place we went to, and I'm not joking, there was this pint that was £7.20 for a pint. And I was like, if you want it, I'll buy it for you, like, if that's what you want. And he got one, I think it was £5.80. And then we went to another place, and he got a pint, and it was flat, and like I could tell it was flat. I was like, that's flat, and he wouldn't take it back, and I'm like, I've just paid for that. And he's like, oh, I'll drink it. And then he got the second drink he got was the same pint that he had at the other place, and he went, oh, it was probably cheaper. I'm like, no, actually it was 15p more. And then we went to a third place for him to have another drink, and whilst we was at the second place, I was like, I'm going to have to go to the car, because we was on a car park, and put some money on. So I stupidly went and put another hour on when I should have put 2 hours on, because I think he would have happily had a couple more drinks instead of another one after that. But we went to another pub, and then we came home, which wasn't a 2-minute drive. Do you know what? I always like that drive home. It's always it's the easiest place in the world to get to. Like, you don't need a sat nav or anything, and it's the easiest place to get home, because obviously you come the same way home, and it's just an enjoyable drive, like no drama, nothing. So that's what I did Sunday. And then yeah, I think my dad had a good time. Yeah, like, my brother rung him whilst we were out. One of my brothers. I've got 5,000. No, I haven't. But yeah, my brother rang. Because my dad actually saw my brother on Friday, because my brother... Actually, I shouldn't say this, because certain people are looking up to try and find out my brother is. But my brother was playing something in a final against the person who actually taught him as a teenager to play this thing, and he won, even with a bad back. And he invited my dad because the person that had taught my brother this knew my dad back then. I probably knew him, but I'm a lot younger than my brother, so I wouldn't have remembered him, because I would have been about 3 or 4. And because this person, I can't even remember his real name. What was it? Anyway, I'll call him, I don't even know what to call him, because I can't remember what his real name is. Let's call him Alan. I don't know where I'm getting these names from. Alan was playing against my niece about 3-4 weeks ago, and he said, it's so funny that you've got that surname, because I used to know someone who used to have such and such, and I used to play such and such against such and such. And she's like, well, that's my dad. And he's like, you're joking? She's like, no, that's my dad. And I've just remembered the name of the guy, but I can't say what it is. I think my brother was there, and he went up to my brother and he was like, "Do you not remember me?" And he said his name, and then my brother got my dad on the phone. He's like, "You never guess who like I'm with." And then my dad didn't quite remember him from the name, but when my brother like explained like who he was, he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember." And then I don't know if my niece beat him or not. I can't remember. But anyway, it worked out that my brother and this guy were in the final together, and my brother asked my dad if he wanted to go and watch the final, and this was weeks ago when he asked him, because they didn't know when the final was going to be. So yeah, that's what my dad did, and then my brother won, and my dad's met up with the guy, and my dad was asking about other people that he knew from that point, and apparently most of them are dead. One's in a lunatic asylum, and he forgot to ask about the one who apparently had an affair with my mum. Don't know if this is true or not, but my mum said it isn't. I've not asked her recently, because I know if I asked her she'd get on the phone to my dad and have a go at him for saying it. I don't know if it's true. Who knows? I wasn't there. My dad's saying it's true. My mum said it isn't true, but I wasn't there. I mean, I don't know if she did. I mean, I can't comment on what she got up to, because I don't know. Anyway, so that's what he did Friday. And it's funny because he come home, right? And I knew he was home because I heard taxi door slam. And then he walked up the path, and the Ring camera obviously comes on. And I just watched the footage of him walking up the path, and it was obvious he was really drunk. And I said to him next day, I was like, "I saw you walk up the path last night. You were drunk." "Oh, I weren't drunk. I'd only had a couple." And I sent my mum the video, and I showed my dad the video, which obviously he can access anyway. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I probably was drunk." And my mum went, "He definitely is drunk." So we had a good weekend, and he saw people that he doesn't get to normally see because he's normally with someone else. So that was his weekend. Because you all want to know about my dad, don't you? Not. And yes, Sunday was nice, and because I knew I was going to be out in the sun, and my dad didn't know where we were going. Like, he didn't realise until I don't know how far into the journey, but it becomes obvious at a certain point into the journey. I'd say it becomes very obvious 10 to 15 minutes into the journey where we're going. But before we were going out, I literally walked in the room and just put sunscreen up his arms, like squirted it on him, and I put way too much on him to the point I had to like scrape some onto my hand just so he weren't just absolutely coated in a thick layer of sunscreen. But I knew we'd be out and about in the sun, and he's got a habit of not putting it on, whereas I put it on every day because I don't want to get burnt, because I have fair skin and I get burnt very easily. In fact, I feel like I've either been burnt on my arm today even though I've got it on, or I've had a reaction to something, because I went on I walk in various places and I have different routes at different places. Like everywhere that I go, I have several routes that I can go on depending on what I've done. Like, say I went to the same place every day, which I don't do because it's just boring, and sometimes I don't have the time depending on where it is. I do different routes, and the dog has particular favourite routes depending on wherever we've gone. And I like to try, if I've got time to get lost and find my way back, I like to explore so I can find new things I can add to existing routes that I've got, or change routes or have different routes. So I'm always trying to find new routes, because it does get boring doing similar or same things all the time. And today I discovered this thing last week. Well, I'd always seen it and I'd always wondered what was in this direction, and last week I discovered what was in the direction. And when I double backed, because I didn't want to come out where it came out, when you come back you can go a different way, and when I came back a different way, you do eventually go back onto the main part, but there was other parts that drifted off in other directions. And I remember thinking last week, I reckon this will go off such and such a place, but I didn't want to do it because it was a really hot day, and I thought if I go off the wrong way and have to come back this way, it's really hot and I really can't be bothered because it's uphill on the way back. So today I decided to go that way, and I was right about where it came out. And then I carried on onto a part of the place that I go every now and then. It's very rare that I go this part, so that's why I like to add it in every now and then, because it's a very rare part. And then I went across onto another part that I wanted to go across on last time I did the walk, but this random guy had set himself up on this exit part and there was no way out because he was blocking it, and he was literally, you couldn't see him until you got almost to the part where you come off, and he was literally watching people, and I thought, well, I'm not going to try and get past him because he just made me feel uncomfortable. So I just ended up doing a loop around this place and going out the way I came in, well, a bit further down, because of him just sat in a really random place where a lot of people come in and out of that place, but I'd never been out that place. So anyway, today, as I was walking towards it, I made sure no one was sat there, because I've never ever seen anyone sat there before, so I did think it was very strange that someone had positioned themselves in the shadows, like behind a tree. Anyway, I went out that way, and I went the way I thought people went, because I keep seeing people come in that way, and there was two ways you could go, left or right, and I thought they must be going left, because if you go right, there's no way out there, because it'll just take you to such and such a place where you basically can't get out that way. So I went the other way, and I'm walking along thinking, yeah, it's going to bring me out such and such a place, because I had an idea that it might bring me out somewhere where I walk with her, and I thought it'd bring me out to that path, and it didn't. So I walk out into this place, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know this was here. Now, I've been going to this area for years and years and years with previous dogs and stuff, and so when I came out in this place, and I was like, do you know, have you ever been somewhere and you just go off route and you think, oh, this will bring me out such and such a place, and then you end up somewhere and then you feel really confused and think, have I just like stepped into like Twilight Zone or something, like I'm really confused because I did not know this place existed. It was like that. I felt really confused. I'm like, what have I done? Where have I gone? I didn't know this was here. How long's this been here? It's obviously been there like forever, and I was so confused about it. And I'm like, how long's this been here? Like, I was just like really like dumbfounded by this place that I came out, and I couldn't cross because it was water that I didn't know existed, and of course the dog wanted to go in, and it really stank down there as well, like really foul smell, and there was ducks and there was like ducklings, and it was confusing. I'd never ever come across this place. I didn't know it existed. I've been going this area for multiple years, like more than any other place I've ever been, and I was like, where the hell, like, so I had to double back to where I'd come from, and then I went the opposite direction where I thought I couldn't go, because I thought it's not going to bring me out anywhere, and I was basically walking through this tall grass and stuff, like there was a narrow pathway, because obviously people would walk through. It was probably the width of the dog, the pathway, and each side of me was super tall grass that was much taller than me, and like loads of other like things like nettles and all sorts of stuff sticking out every now and then, and I'm there like arms completely out, well, except for I do have sleeves, but I feel like because I've got this on my arm, kind of, I don't know, it starts just before the elbow and goes up past the elbow, but on the side of the arm, not on the elbow, so the side pointing outwards, and it's got like bumps on it, and it's like I've rubbed against something, or something's happened there, because I don't have it on the other side, so I think it's from walking through that tall grass, potentially. I mean, it could be the sun, because I will walk a lot with this hand, and I keep meaning to do it with the other hand, but I don't, because sometimes if I walk with the left hand, it doesn't pick all my steps up on my tracker, because obviously I'm not your arm doesn't move the same way if you've got a lead on it, if the lead's constantly pulled tight, which it is because she pulls. So I walk with it too much on my right hand when I shouldn't. So I think potentially from walking through this tall grass, I might have caught my arm, or it's the sun, or it's a combination of both, because the sun wouldn't have like all this, do you know when you get bumpy skin? It's got this bumpy skin going on, so I don't know what's caused it. But yeah, I've discovered this area, and I took pictures and I sent them to my dad, because I spoke to him when I did it, was it at home? And I was like, I won't tell you where I went, but I told him like how I ended up at this place, and I was like, because my dad's probably been down there a lot as well, I'm like, but I don't think you would have come across this place, because when you get to this place, there's no way out, because there's water in front of you, stinky water. Luckily the dog went in water once more after that point, so she got that stinky water off her, thankfully. But I was like, I bet you won't know where it is if I send you the pictures. So I sent in the pictures like I don't have a clue. And I thought if anyone came across that place, it would potentially be him. But yeah, like, if you knew where I went and you knew the area, you potentially wouldn't have come across it. But people must go down to it, because there was empty beer cans and some crisp packets, and people were going down there. But it stinks. I'm thinking who would go down there, because it did really stink down there. Yeah, discovered a new place. And also, like I said, I went on this new path that I'd never been on before, and I was always curious where it led. Now I know if I go that way, I can, do you know what, it comes out somewhere, and I think I know where it comes out, because I get to a certain point, because it takes me away from the area, this walk, this part of it anyway, and one of the times I'm just going to let it take me out where it's going to take me out, and I think I know where it's going to take me out, and I'm going to have to like walk, either come back that way, which I won't do, or come via another way. But yeah, and then like I said, I went and dropped down into another place, and it came out where I thought it would. So I'm all for exploring, if I've got the time, because obviously I don't want to go off somewhere and like go in one direction for like 40 minutes and then realise I'm nowhere near the start, or it's a dead end or whatever, and then try and work my way back if I've not got the time to do it. But today I did have the time to get a little bit lost, and I knew I wouldn't, because I knew it would either bring me out where I thought, or I could double back up and head up, not necessarily back up the route I came, but head that sort of direction and get back on that way, because I have a really good sense of direction anyway. I know a lot of people don't, but a lot of it's common sense. So don't think you're lost, just try and work out the direction you've come in, or the direction you think you need to go in, and head that way. And that's what I do. But I'm all like, there's this other place that I take the dog. I mean, there's quite a few places, and she's always trying to drag me off route, and I do go off route in some of the places on one of the walks I go on, and I'm getting pretty bored with that walk, and there's not many places that I've not been down on this walk, and there's a couple, but I think I know where they're going to bring me out, but I just don't always have the time to like go on a little adventure. But last week, well, when did I go with her? Was it Monday? I think it was Monday, because I try not, like today I've been to the same place twice in a row, but I've done totally different routes. Like they couldn't be more different. But I weren't going to go there today. I was actually meant to go somewhere completely different, and then I had so much to do I couldn't get there. Now I'm getting the bumpy thing on the other arm, but not as bad. Is it a sun rash or something? I don't know if there's such a thing as sun rash, unless I got touched by the tall grass on that side, but this side on the right arm's the worst. But yeah, and then I was like, well, I'll go such and such a place, and I thought, well, I don't know if I want to go there, but where I went today, the way I go sometimes, I can go to either place, so I thought, well, I've got 5 minutes to decide, because obviously I have to turn one way or the other when I get to a certain point. And even as I got to the point where I had like 10 seconds left to decide, I was still leaning towards the other one. But there's a few things about the other place that, even though I love where I go, there's a couple of things that I don't like about it. And I think like I had to be really in the mood to go there. There's a lot of walks you can go on at that place, but there's a couple of parts that I don't like about it. I don't like the beginning part as much. I don't hate it, like it's okay, and I don't like the parking. But yeah, so even like as I was like going down this road and I had to decide left or right, I was like, oh, and I had like 10 seconds to I didn't even have 10 seconds to decide, and I decided to go where I went. But I'm getting a bit bored with like some of the places I'm going to. Like I said, the one I went Monday, I've basically done the majority of the routes except for there's one thing that I've not gone down because I keep saying no to the dog. Because if it's raining or it's rained, it would be very detrimental to go down it because it's very slippy. I can tell for looking down it, it's like not a mud path, but it's like, well, it is mud, well, soil or whatever it is. And I feel like if it's wet, which it's not been. And the other day I was like, if you want to go down there, we can. Because I always say no to her. She decided she didn't want to because I pretty much let the dog dictate some of the route depending on how much time I've got. And how I'm feeling. Because if I'm knackered, because was it Monday? I did 2 walks there. The second walk I thought I was going to die. Well, I didn't think I was going to die. I'd basically, and you should always stay hydrated, I'd not drank enough. So my body was like, obviously you've got to fuel your body. It was a hot day. I'd been rushing around all day. I'd gone for a second walk, which I knew I was going to do that day. And it was going to be actually ended up being longer than the morning one. And I was just constantly thirsty, and I take a litre with me, 500ml for me, 500ml for the dog. Obviously, if mine runs out and I'm dying for a drink, I will drink some of the dog's because we come across multiple sources of water. On a lot of the walks, I do. But every time I drank, I'd put the water away and I'd be really thirsty and have a dry mouth. And I'm there thinking to myself, you're not hydrated enough, this is why you're struggling on the walk. Like, I didn't have as much energy as I should. So if you're out, especially in the heat, you need to keep hydrated. Learn from me because I am not the best at staying hydrated. But yeah, I'll kind of decide what route I'm going to do. And it all depends on, like I said, timing, weather, if it's peeing it down. I still go, but I will change the location and try and do very shielded walks, like trees or as much trees as possible, because they're not all like 100% tree lined, and even if they are, there's gaps in trees and stuff. So, but I always have like an idea of what I'm going to do and where I'm going to like go off in one direction or whatever. And sometimes like time dependent, or sometimes if I still don't have tons of time, but like there's a couple of points where we can go, I will let her decide. Or if we come out somewhere, we could go either left or right or straight on. I'll just go wherever she wants to go, as long as it's kind of in the sort of direction that I want to go in, or it's within the time frame, like I know I can get back by a certain point. So she does dictate. Like today she dictated when we came out of the first part where I thought we'd come out. There was 2 routes we could have come out on, and again another part I let her decide. So if she wants to go somewhere, she can, to some extent. Obviously, otherwise she'd be dragging me everywhere. So yeah, but the one I was meant to go on, I did think I would do tomorrow morning, Thursday. Because if I don't do it tomorrow, is it Thursday tomorrow? That's crazy. Do you know what? I've done so much this week. I've still got loads of stuff to do. I'm tired. Like my body's tired, my mind's tired. I need a drink. I've just got an insane amount of stuff done. It's been crazy, but I've got so much to do. But there is this walk I want to do. I can't say what it is. If this wasn't going up the same day, I would say what it is. But I was going to have a bath today. Not a hot bath, like, not a cold bath either, because I'm aching, and it's her washing day. Well, I wanted to wash my hair today, it's not her washing day technically. And then, like an hour or so ago, what time is it? I was like, should I have a bath now? And I'm like, I honestly cannot be bothered. I'm tired, I'm achy, and I can't be bothered. I was like, should I just have a shower and wash my hair? And I'm like, I can't be bothered washing my hair. I'm just going to have a shower, which I've not had yet, but I will be having before bed. So I thought, well, I'll have a quick bath in the morning and wash my hair when the dog goes out. She didn't go out by herself, obviously. And then I can let my hair dry naturally and go out. But if I'm going where I want to go with her, where I wanted to go this morning, and I'd planned to, but God, I had so much to do, and it's quite a time-consuming thing to do. And then I'm thinking, like, if I let my hair dry naturally and stuff, what time am I going to be ready by? And I need to go to the shop. It's not food shopping tomorrow, I just need to go shop. Because I want to do something if I get the opportunity to, but I might not. Who knows? But I might do that tomorrow, but I'm not. Do you know, like if I had to get up early or whatever tomorrow, I would wash my hair tonight, but I'm just tired. I've got stuff I should be getting on with. I'm not going to get too much done tonight, I can tell you that now. Because I'm tired, my arms are aching. I don't know what I'm doing with my bloody arms that are making them like ache. Especially my right one. It's probably the dog. Honest to God, at times, she's bloody hard work. Oh, God. I'd get a sled, but she'd probably pull me off it after about 3 seconds. You wouldn't believe she's 20 kilograms. She is so strong. Honest to God, I am not weak. She almost pulled me. Where was I when I almost fell on my face today? Where was I? I can't remember. Oh, it was when I came up, by the water and I didn't know it existed. She was trying to take me down to the water and I'm trying to go down to it, but it was like a bit of a slope. And every step I took, like the stuff underneath me moved. And she pulled really hard over, so which she doesn't normally do. Normally we're like going down a bit of a slope to some water. She holds back because she's used to me saying slow down, so now she holds back because I don't have 4 legs like her. And she just pulled really hard. And how I did not end up face first in this stinking water, I don't know. But it was like, if it was going to happen, it would have happened today. And then she took me to some other water where I couldn't walk down the thing to get to it. I literally had to put my hand on the side and kind of like, like when you like, not like sit down and push yourself down, but like hand down on something and then, because I can't put both hands down because I've got a lead in one hand, but it was easier to get back up than down. But she's just obsessed with bloody water. I wish she was so obsessed with getting in the bath, because she hates getting in, but once she's in she loves it and don't want to get out. It's bloody weird. But getting in there is bloody drama and an issue. So that's how my week's going. It's only Wednesday. It's crazy that it's Wednesday, but also like I feel like I've done about 2 weeks worth of stuff in 3 days. I've done my back garden, I've cut the grass, I've trimmed it, which seems to take forever, but the last few times it's not been trimmed, so it's built up. And the trimmer needs a new thing. It's like a cassette that you put the wire on. So it's adjusting the length of it's a nightmare. So yesterday I was using it, it was way too short, but it was cutting some of it, and then today it got lengthened and I finished the rest of it and it's looking better. And it's not going to get that long around the edges and places again, because it's just a nightmare when you do it. It just takes forever. I fixed some of the fence because it's getting holes in and people stand and stare at me, and it stops me from going outside, and I think that's potentially why people do it. So that's been fixed. There's some nice bee lights up that I put up last week, and I've changed where they are slightly. And yes, I've done a bit of gardening. Vaxed my car out because I was able to today, because the dog, and this is going to be the end of the video, she's decided to do a mid-season molt. Don't know why, obviously you can't stop it. She started molting about 7 weeks ago, 6-7 weeks ago, just a little bit, but more than she should be. And then last couple of weeks she's just throwing fur off, and it's everywhere, and my car is coated. She's got her own back seat cover now because I cleaned it out like maybe 5 weeks ago or something, and it took me hours. I did it over a few days, and and she was only molting a bit then, and I was only using a handheld Dyson, you know, the little Dyson. It took me forever. I got it about 85% done. I was like, I'm done, I've had enough, and then I put the new cover in. Anyway, it would appear she's managed to pull the cover up so it's not on properly. So when I was like hoovering / racking it today, all underneath the cover is full of fur. So I've managed to pull the cover down, and I've got about 75% out. And it was all because I'm driving along and all this fur is flying around and it's sticking to my face. It's going all over the front of the car, and I'm like, I'm sick of this. And she'll stand behind me shaking, so I'm getting coated in fur. Like today, even though I'd vacked it out, by the time I got where I was going, all my outfit was covered in dog fur because she's in the back shaking it, it's flying in the front. So I can't wait for her to completely drop all the fur off, but there's tons to go. It was a nightmare when she molted at the start of the year, and it took about 3 weeks to get it off. But she's been doing it 6-7 weeks, and it's only starting to do the heavy molt part. I don't know why she's doing it. God knows. She's probably just like, do you know what? I'm going to be awkward and get the house coated in fur. Coat the cars in fur. It's like she gets on my bed in the morning, and by the time she gets off, I'm coated in fur. My bed's coated in fur, so I've got to like get it off, like shape the cover and do like all that on the sheet and stuff. It's bloody annoying. But yeah, that is it. 20-minute videos turned into 41 minutes. If you made it to the end, well done. I'm tired. I need a drink. I can't wait to have a shower because I just feel and I'm going to get up when the dog goes out. I mean, depends on what time he takes the dog out. I mean, he's been late a couple of times taking her out. If it's getting late, I'm just going to have a shower because it's easier and quicker. I just like baths when I'm aching like this, and I'm really aching because I've done so much and it's only Wednesday. I think the strimming's what's probably hurt my arms. Because God, it's just took forever. But if you've got to the end, well done. Let me know if you've got to the end as well, because you've done better than me, because I haven't watched myself to the end. And this means I can now upload it straight away and schedule it for the morning, so it'll be up in the morning. I don't know if I'm going to manage the walk I've planned, but then I don't know. Oh well, if I don't manage that one, I'll go to the one that I was considering going to today, weather permitting, because if it rains, which hopefully it won't, I mean it's not a bad one to go on in the rain actually, because I won't get that wet. I don't know, it depends on which route I take if I go on it. But the first part I will, and that's another part why I don't like it, because like the first 10 minutes I'm going to get wet. But I've got, anyway, you don't need to know. I'm going to go, I've got a few things to do. I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to have a lot to drink, it's going to be the Thursday. And we'll see what the dog's doing. She's knackered, you know. If she goes out in the sun with me, I try and stay in the shade as much as possible, but she's always trying to pull me out the shade. And she's tired a lot more. But I hope everyone's having a good week. I hope you had a good weekend. Have a good upcoming weekend. I mean, I don't even know what's going on at weekend. And I'll do another video at some point. I'm not going to say it's going to be a regular Tuesday thing. I mean, there's lots going on. I've got a lot to do. I've got a lot of things going on. But when I can, I will. I mean, there's other social medias that I post a lot more. So if you want to find me, go ahead and find me. I mean, some of you won't be able to find me on some of them, but yeah, have a great weekend. Have a great Thursday. Have a great Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And check out the upcoming unboxings. I don't know what's coming. Well, I do know what's coming up. And I don't know what order to put them up in because I just don't. And I'm not uploading a ton of videos all the time, like. But I do have some already uploaded that are not scheduled. Well, at least 2. Do you know what? Instead of doing this, I should have filmed an unboxing, but it's a bit late for that. Oh, you can see me. Hi. God, my hair is such a mess. It's because it needs washing. Anyway, bye.